Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, you can.
Good. Yeah, I'm directly from. My name is Ian Chen, and I'm currently in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, in our office in Publica, and we have Henry, our manager in Singapore, and we have a director in Australia, Melbourne, Adrian Chen today. Thank you very much for attending our event tonight, and it's really exciting as we have a number of good speakers here tonight, and we would love to share with you what's going on in Melbourne with the current state of disaster, especially in Victoria now. Before we start, we're still waiting for some audience to come in. We'll start off with our company profile first, company video, and we will continue with our presentation after that. Thank you very much.
总部位于澳大利亚墨尔本的嘉宁国际是一家专注于房地产服务的专业机构。创立至今的30多年来，嘉宁国际以德为本，以诚立身，辛勤耕耘，积累了丰富的房产物业投资经验，足迹遍布了澳大利亚、中国、新加坡、马来西亚、印尼、文莱和香港等国家和地区。30多年来，嘉宁始终坚持着公司的愿景与理念，以职业道德为价值观，帮助每一位客户成功置业澳洲。
嘉宁国际地产公司能从马来西亚、印度尼西亚、新加坡、澳大利亚和中国持续成长30多年，是全靠嘉宁长期坚持公司的理念和愿景而来。嘉宁是个专业的服务公司，我们的平台是通过房地产这个渠道，制造许多实际与可靠的机会，与大家分享，让大家生活变得更美好。
Our core values are derived from the word ethics, and we break it into excellence in performance, teamwork among our employees, honesty in our business dealings, integrity and innovation in our actions, commitment towards our work, and sincere relationship.
Our family migrated to Australia in 1990. Since then, we bought many properties in Australia as well as overseas. We own our own building in our Australian office, our Kuala Lumpur office, as well as our Singapore office. We hope to bring our family and friends in China, our experience and expertise, so that everyone can prosper in this industry. Currently, we have 3 offices in China, Beijing, Shanghai, and Tianjin. We hope to work with our family and friends in China to expand our business throughout the whole big China. Thank you.
澳大利亚政治经济稳定，拥有得天独厚的自然资源，气候宜人，教育实力雄厚，吸引着越来越多的移民和海外学子。澳大利亚经济发达，文化多元，人口高度都市化，全国近1半人口生活在悉尼和墨尔本2大城市。全国多个城市被评为世界上最宜居的城市。嘉宁国际从事澳洲房产数十年，与澳洲数百家开发商均有着长期而稳定的友好合作。其代理的众多地产项目遍布悉尼、墨尔本、布里斯班、黄金海岸、珀斯等首府城市。优越的地段，舒适便捷的生活环境，具有竞争力的价格，每一个项目都经过筛选。成熟的团队和后期服务部门，也为嘉宁的客户提供了舒心的投资体验。
I've known Ian Chen and the Jalin Group now for probably close to 7 years. So my relationship with Jalin has been very good. I've already experienced some success with Jalin and the team in Singapore, Kuala Lumpur. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing the relationship with Jalin Realty here at Lease. We've got some very exciting projects we're bringing to the market, and I look forward to working closely with the team in the coming months ahead.
We've been working with Jalin for over 7 years now, and we've always found that we've had a great working relationship with them. And Jalin have sold properties for Mirvac in Singapore, Indonesia, KL and China. And the main reason why they are one of our key agent partners is because they're extremely efficient and professional and always offer the very best after-sales service to our customers.
Hello, my name's Sam Tarascio and I'm the Managing Director of Salter Properties, and I'm very pleased to be providing this testimonial for Jalin Realty. We've dealt with Jalin for many years now. Salter is a large developer based in Melbourne and we sell thousands of apartments every year. Jalin assists us with our sales right throughout Southeast Asia. They have offices in China and in Malaysia, and in fact we share an office with Jalin in Malaysia also. So we have a very strong working relationship and they always do a fantastic job for us.
I think it's important when you choose a company to go with. I think that you share the same values, and that's something that we feel weighed heavily on our decision to use Jalin. They're highly committed to sales and after sales service, in terms of providing the right information to their clients, in terms of looking after the clients post-purchase, right into settlement, and really ensuring that it works. It's a mutually beneficial relationship for everyone involved.
客户的认可是对佳宁最大的鼓励。每一位佳宁人将始终坚持佳宁的愿景与理念，不断提高自身专业水平和服务，助您更加安心的置业澳洲。佳宁国际，圆您澳洲梦。
We are Jalin Melbourne. We are Jalin Shanghai. We are Jalin Beijing. We are Jalin Singapore. We are Jalin Jakarta. We are Jalin Malaysia.
For staying on. As mentioned again, this is our first time Jalin Realty conducting a tri-country webinars. So as mentioned again, I'm currently in our Jalin KL office in Publica, Mont Kiara. Henry is in Singapore in our Orchard office in Takashimaya, and Adrian is in Melbourne, where our office is located is Melbourne Central. A lot of things is happening in Melbourne now. We are on a stage 4 lockdown, stage 4 lockdown. And a lot of things cannot be done at the moment. And from the latest news over there, the latest COVID-19 cases as of today, I think has tapered down, 400 plus cases with a recent high of over 700 over plus, but today is around 400 plus. But having said that, a lot of our audience who attend today will know that we have an initiative. Jalin Realty has come up with an initiative which is to provide a free staging services for all our customers or all our attendees today who has apartment or properties in Australia, so that during this period, if you do have an apartment which is vacant, we will provide you a free staging, free services, so that you can continue to rent out your property. And what is free staging? Let me share with you a video quickly. What do we mean by free staging?
Hi, my name is Adrian Chen from Jalin Realty, Managing Director of Australia. I've been real estate since 1997, and today I'd like to share with you my experience. One of the main criteria when you're thinking of selling your property is the presentation of the property. In order to extract the emotional price from the purchasers, we need to present the property beautifully. Come, let's have a look at this property, see what Jalin have done for the owners. If you're thinking of selling and your property is vacant, please give Jalin Realty a call. We we can give you a free consultation.
Okay, I think it was cut short earlier, but having said that, that is property staging. Yeah, so as you can see from there, that's a property which is located in Melbourne, Doncaster. For those who are familiar with Australia, Melbourne, Doncaster. So what we have done for this owner is he has bought this property off the plan from us. He's a developer from Mervac in Doncaster Golf Course, brand new, off the plan, and upon completion, we rent the property out. A property management team in Melbourne rented out for this customer for 2 years, and after 2 years, he decided to sell, and we put this property into the market. Before selling, we have this campaign, and with this campaign, we come together with this property staging. Yeah, that's what property staging means. Basically, we furnish the whole house for these customers. So having said that, as mentioned again, Melbourne is experiencing a very unique time now. We know that, we know that as we are property managers in Melbourne, we know that there's quite a number of properties which are vacant at the moment in Melbourne, especially in the CBD. Reason being is that the student populations are not back yet, and a lot of people are working from home now, and we realized that, and we noticed that the vacancy rate has shot up. So Jalin Realty Australia, with the leadership of Adrian, has decided to come up with this initiative by providing all our customers, all our attendees today who has property in Australia, who is facing difficulty in renting out their property. We are willing, Jalin Realty, willing to give free property staging to stage up your property so that it will be rented out easily or during this period or for short-term purposes. Yeah, as mentioned again, this property staging is for limited period. So for those who are interested, please type in on the chat section, let us know, and then our team in Singapore will contact you. Yeah. So from that video earlier, as mentioned again, besides property staging assistance that we provide, we do assist with all sales as well. So if any of our friends, customers who decide to sell their property in Australia, this is how we do it in Australia, by bidding or auction system. And we'll share with you the video now.
A very good morning to you all, and a very, very warm welcome to the auction sale here at 1 Mackay Walk, right in this secluded part of Doncaster. And assisting me, we have this wonderful team here at Jalin. 60,000 square metres of crown open parkland in this residence. Let's go. Yes, at 860, 80 good bid, 900 now, sir. Absolutely, you would. $1 million now, good decision. Yes, 60 is good bid. At 60 here, 1.19, good bid. Yeah, 1.2, good luck now. 208, I'll take it at 208. 1.21, good bid. 1.212, you heard it. The property is going, you sure, sir? Out. The property sold, ladies and gentlemen, that's $1,212,000.
Working for Jalin Realty has been a fantastic experience for me. Having offices over Southeast Asia and now building a benchmark in the Melbourne CBD.
I love working in Jalin Realty because the working culture is so different compared to other real estate companies.
Over the years, we came across challenges, but we work all together to overcome that.
At Jalin Realty, we're not only just a workplace, but a family. It's a fantastic place to be.
Okay, thank you very much. As mentioned again, Jalin Realty, we have offices in Melbourne, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Jakarta, Hong Kong, and China. And our main mission is to assist all our customers to provide this end-to-end solution services. As mentioned again, if you do purchase a property from us in Melbourne, we will assist with the settlement, we'll assist with the property management, and we will assist with the sales as well. The selling process in Melbourne is very different from other countries like in Singapore or Malaysia, but that's how we conduct our sales, and our success rate has been quite good. It'd be easily 80 to 100% each time when we conduct an auction. So thank you very much for staying on. As mentioned again, for those who are interested in the free staging initiative by Jalin Realty Australia, please type in your name and we will contact you directly for these services. As mentioned again, this is limited service, limited time service. Okay, good. So before we start, there's a short disclaimer over there, and we'll share with you what's happening in Melbourne now. As mentioned again, we have Adrian who's in Melbourne, and the current time now is 9:17 in Melbourne. And thank you very much for staying up, Adrian. And we have an audience from Singapore and Kuala Lumpur today. And how's the weather in Melbourne today?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, good. That's good. Thank you. So Melbourne here, it's winter, as you know. It's a bit chilly at night. However, saying that, those who are following the news, we have curfew in Melbourne. First time in history. I've been here for 30 years, since 1990. And I asked all my Australian friends, this is the first time in history we are having a curfew in Melbourne, okay? So we are not allowed to go out from 8 p.m. onwards, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. next morning. Not that we go out often, but we are restricted now, okay? So just for anyone who didn't realize it, Melbourne is under lockdown curfew from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., okay? So other than that, in actual fact, I feel pretty safe, feel pretty good here because 99% of the Australian people are abiding to the law now, okay? So they wear masks, they have social distancing, everyone in the lift or in the park when they're exercising, they wear masks. So everyone is aware and looking after themselves as well as each other. Okay. So even though the 2 weeks ago the infection rate went up, however, saying that it had come back really fast, come back down now to 300 to 400 per day, and we foresee in the next week or two the rate will come further down. Okay. So with real estate itself, if everyone can remember, our first restriction started in March. Okay, Melbourne started in March, and the restriction was stage 3, so there were a little bit more flexibility. Back then, the property market was affected, the rental side, the sales side was affected for about 2 weeks, and then immediately after that, when they lifted the restriction for 1 month, the property market, the rental as well as sales just went up the roof. Okay, so which shows that the fundamental is still very strong in Australia and Melbourne. It is still the biggest, second biggest city in Australia. It's metropolitan, it's international, so still a lot of confidence here within the local residents here. Okay, so after that, obviously, 2 weeks ago we have a second spike went up, and then we have a lockdown again. However, all the agents, including the professional people, they are still pretty positive, and they do believe that the market will come back good as soon as the lockdown is lifted. Okay, so I know that a lot of experts talking about unemployment rate and so on and so forth, the government subsidy. So I do not know what's going to happen in the future, but based on my close to 30 years experience in real estate, whatever goes up will come down, whatever comes down will go back up again. Okay, so it's just pretty much on your own personal financial planning and your investment planning, what you like to do with your funds and which country, which asset you like to put into. Okay, so I do believe Australia is a stable country. It provides stability. It's a safe country. It's law with legal aspect of things to protect your asset as well. So if you're looking for medium to long-term investment, I still strongly encourage to consider Australia. Okay. I can't hear you, sorry. Can you hear me?
Okay, yep, I can hear. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you very much. Yep. So sorry, we have audience in KL as well. Yeah. Okay, good. So we have some data coming up to support what Adrian has shared with us. As mentioned again, we are registered estate agent not only in Singapore, KL, but also Australia as well. So we are a member of REIV, that is a Real Estate Institute Victoria. Yeah, as you can see from the slides above, yeah, the slides over here, this is just after the first lockdown, and we have conducted some auctions on that lockdown and was successful. In fact, I believe one or two of these properties that we have done for auctions belongs to our Singaporean customers. Another one belongs to our Malaysian customers. Yeah. So as mentioned again, these customers bought property from us. We manage for them rental, and we do the auction sales, what we have shared with you earlier, and end-to-end solution services. I can say that there isn't any other agency that can provide this type of services in Singapore or even in Malaysia as well, whereby we can provide the one-stop services. Yeah. So hope, yeah, good. As mentioned again, for all attendees who attend today who has property in Australia, take this opportunity. Jalin Realty working with one of the short-term operator, and we are going to provide free staging. So as you can see from the video earlier and the photo here as well, the property on the left-hand side is before staging, and property on the right-hand side is after staging. Yeah, so we will furnish the whole place as if it's a brand new, as if it's a move-in condition, with all your cutlery and furnitures as well. And in fact, during this period, we will put it on the market for short-term stay to generate some income for all our customers. So as you can see from here, if you can look at the statement, we in Jalin, Australia, Melbourne, we do manage approximately 300 plus properties, and some of our properties in the cities has become vacant recently. So we have put them into the market for short-term stay, and these are the statement of income that has been generated by our customers during this period. So instead of leaving it vacant, they are generating income, rental at this period as well. So if for those who sign up with us, we will provide you this statement every monthly on your property rental status. Yeah. So if you do intend to rent it up for long term, this is a good time as well, because when we stage up, we will inform the operator that we're going to open up for long-term viewing. Then we will close the period and we will not lease it out for short-term period. Yeah. So these are the statement again. So is that correct, Adrian?
Yeah. Just to add on to it is that it's something. It's an initiative we come up with. Is because some of the landlords' properties long-term rental pricing keep on coming down. Okay, so we don't believe that it should keep coming down. We try to protect the property, protect the price, while we are waiting for the property rental market, permanent market to go up. So this is the idea we came up with. Why don't we rent it out short term? Initially, we didn't realize that there are still short-term tenants available. By nature of fact, we found out because there's a shortage of short-term apartments, there are still a lot of frontline workers, a lot of hospitality people who need to work, as well as a lot of builders who need to do construction at night. So they are the ones that do not want to go home, and they are the ones that actually renting all these short-term apartments. So the return, we just started last month in June, and July just started. So the response has been very good. It's been very encouraging. That's the reason why we are confident now to actually promote it out and share with everyone what we are doing, and hopefully it will bring you some income. If your property is empty now, don't keep dropping your price until it's way too low, because if you drop it too low, it will be very difficult to bring it up again in the future. Okay, so while we are waiting for the market to go up, why don't we rent it in the short term and get some income as well?
Fantastic. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, good. So Henry, so how's the market in Singapore now? Overall sentiment.
Right, thank you. Yeah, hi everyone. Well, if you've been following the news in Singapore, we just celebrate our 55th birthday last Sunday in Singapore, and then of course everyone is also watching out for the news, for the updates every day. We have news from the our government. What are the numbers? What we can see is that actually the numbers are kind of coming down. Majority is still, they are still testing out the foreign workers or foreign personnel that we have here in Singapore. But personally, what I'm actually monitoring is the number of cases of community in the community. So it is still have one or two, and the government, everyone is still trying our best to have the contact tracing. Similarly, we have all the safety measures in place, having the safety distance of 1 meter. We only have a maximum of up to 5 people that can gather or to dine together outside. We had our lockdown in between April and June period, but now government is slowly reopening the economy, and we have businesses actually coming back.
Yes, that's good to hear, Henry. That's good to hear. So similarly, I can see a lot of countries improving as well. I think they have, every country is trying to flatten the curve. And I read the news today. I think Russia has come up with the first COVID-19 vaccine testing started in Russia. So hopefully it will can fill down to other countries as well. So very good. So we'll move on to see how is Melbourne's market. As you can see from here, as mentioned again today, I'll talk about, together with Adrian and Henry, we'll talk about the 4 things, what's going on in Melbourne. Number 1 is the price performance before and before the COVID and now as well. And we talk about the rental market, and we'll talk about the transactions and the number of transactions during this period, and also the clearance rate of the sales property as well. So as you can see from the chart here, I'd just like to reiterate, these figures are all from, or these charts are all from REIV, Real Estate Institute of Victoria. As mentioned again, we are a member of Real Estate Institute of Victoria, and we get all this data very regularly. And this is a very good indicator, and we share and it will show us how's the performance of the overall market. As you can see from here, there's 3 lines here. There's a gray, black, and blue. And if you look at the chart clearly, this is, we call it residential market index, is based on compared to the year 2016. Yeah, year 2016 is the base, which is 100, the index of 100. So as you can see from the gray line here, it started off with the high of 132 and the index of 132, and it start coming down. Yeah, but you will notice these 3 years, which is 2017, 2018, 2019, the movement is quite similar, but towards downward trend on the 2019. This is due to the election year. Yeah, 2019 is the Melbourne's Australia election year. As you can see from here, the index is coming down to as low as around 110 compared to the base year of 100. So it means that the index for 2019 is up only around 10 to 15% compared to 2016. In the month of May, that's the 2019 is the election month, and as you can see from there, everyone was very concerned because Labour Party has come up with a lot of measures to curb the prices of the properties surge. So as you can see from the graph, the prices start coming down. Yeah? But after the election May, you notice that the prices start moving again. Yeah? After May, they start moving again towards December, January, February. The prices still goes up. It did a bit in January because January is the month where things are quieter due to Christmas season. But having said that, it went back up again to almost a high of index of 132, meaning it's up by 32% compared to year 2016, yeah? Up 32%. But if you do notice, by the month of March 2020, that's where the COVID-19 restrictions started. Yeah? COVID-19 restrictions started, and the index start coming down again. Yeah. So this is the price performance for the last 3 years, and it's very, very obvious during the COVID restriction in March, the prices and the index start coming down. If you look at the next graph, very clearly the index came down in March. That's where the restriction started. But towards the end, in May, June, you notice that's a slight curve moving back up again. Yeah, it shows that the confidence level is there, and people are start coming in again. As you can see earlier from our previous auction, we are allowed to conduct auction in June again, and we have 2 properties being auctioned and was sold on the day. In fact, during that weekend, the clearance rate was almost 80%, meaning 100 property being put on the market, 80 of them are sold. Yeah, so I think this is due to the confidence level in the market during the time. Yeah, Adrian, do you have anything to add on, Adrian, on that during the month of June when you were there to conduct the auction?
Yeah.
So Adrian was over there conducting the auction as well.
So with auction in Australia, it takes us about 4 to 5 weeks to market and sell. Okay, so it's very different from Asia country. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. Love the industry, and it's because the process here is so simple and straightforward. It's transparent as well. We put it on the market 4 weeks beforehand. We have inspections every weekend. We show buyers through. We give owners feedback on the market feedback. And on the actual day itself, the owners will set a reserve, and then the buyers will be encouraged to bid. Okay, so our job is to make sure that the buyers are prepared to come, prepared to raise their hand, prepared to pay the maximum price. So under competition, they know that there's shortage of properties, especially landed properties. During that period of time, there's shortage of landed properties. So everyone was bidding very strongly to make sure they don't lose out. So as indicated in the chart, it's the fundamentals here are still very strong locally. Interest rate is very low, and the government is pumping a lot of subsidy to help them to own properties. So I still believe that the lifting of this second lockdown, the market will still bounce back again very quickly.
That's good to hear, Adrian. In fact, I understand that the local property, especially the first home buyers and those who are interested to build their houses, the government is giving a grant of home builder grant of 25,000 for the local Australian and first home. Is that correct?
Yes. So for anyone who buy and start construction within 6 months, they are eligible to get the 25,000 grant. Not only for first home buyer, anyone in Australian, they are entitled to have it, the 25,000. And then on top of that, if you're a first home buyer, there will be a first home buyer grant on top of that as well.
So is permanent residents eligible for this home buyers grant and home builder grant? Sorry.
Unfortunately not. The Australians only are eligible to it, not permanent resident. And that's the reason why the last 6 months, even though with the COVID, the land is still selling, the land value is still going up because the locals are buying them.
I think that's the reason why, as you can see from price performance index, the prices are still holding very well, and it's not coming down at all. Okay, this is the house median price. I'm not sure whether you can see the color. There's supposed to be color there. Yeah, so as you can see, the darker the color is, the median price is higher over there, and you will notice that the concentration of the darker color is along the eastern side, and the eastern suburbs and Melbourne CBD. Those are median prices of around 1 million and above. Yeah, and the next slides we'll share with you is the residential market index again. So as mentioned again, if you look at the comparing with median prices and now this residential market index, the difference is that the median prices is always based on quarterly basis. So we will tabulate the data quarterly basis and see the transaction. Whereas if you look at this residential market index, which is tabulated every week. So as you can see from this one towards the end of this graph, is actually dated 9th of August, which is a couple of days ago. 9th of August, you notice that the residential market index, in fact, has gone up. Yeah? The residential market index, which is the one in black color, it has gone up. It shows that what Adrian has mentioned earlier, the local government, Australian government, is giving a lot of grant to encourage the activities of local construction and property market as well. That's the reason why the residential market index is on the uptick. Yeah? The other one, as you can see, is on the uptick as well. So the confidence is still there. There are still shortages, and people locally in Australia, they are still building, and they're taking advantage of this current situation. And the next slides will share with you the overall market overview. As you can see from here, the residential market index is up by 2.6% as of July 19. The clearance rate is 66%, meaning out of 100 property being put onto the market, 66 of them were sold, and the reported auctions is 1.5 thousand in the month of July, 1,500 being auctioned off. And days on market means 39 means 39 days before when the property is put on the market. It takes 39 days to sell a property. Yeah? Being a real estate agent in Singapore, in Malaysia, and in Australia, being a registered estate agent as well. In fact, Australia is one of the market, I can honestly say, one of the most efficient market. Yeah? As you can see from here, on average, it takes 39 days when you put a property into the market. In Melbourne, it takes 39 days to sell. Yeah? So whereas I know in Singapore, in Malaysia, it takes much more longer than that. A lot of time, at times it takes 6 months or even 1 year to conclude a transaction. So it shows that how efficient the market in Melbourne is. And the vacancy rate of 3% means every 100 houses for rent, currently there's 3% empty. Yeah, so this is generally in Victoria, but we dwell deeper into the inner Melbourne, middle Melbourne, and also outer Melbourne after these slides. So as all of us know, the interest rate is at one of the lowest now, the cash rate of 0.25%, and this has encouraged a lot of investors and owners, occupiers, to look into upgrading or build their own home. So as you can see from here, the one on the left chart is the residential market index. The movement is still very stable. As of July, it's around 127, 130 residential market index, which is good. I think the most important thing is we would like to look into the vacancy rate on the right hand side. Yeah, as you can see from this chart here, the blue and the red line, I think the blue is in fact is the vacancy rate on the Metro Melbourne. Yeah, Metro Melbourne, if that's correct, because I'm looking at the presentation over there. Yeah, can you go back there again? Yeah, slides, the previous slides. Yeah, so the vacancy rate has go up, whereas for those in the regional Melbourne, the vacancy rate has dropped. So what does this mean? That if you do have a property in Melbourne CBD, chances of renting out is not as high as those away from Melbourne CBD. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so very clearly again, this one is from 2009, I think, if not mistaken, prices. So for those who have invested in Australia, especially house and land, you realize that the compounding growth of landed property generally is around 7 to 8% per annum. Yeah? As you can see from here, the prices of median price in Melbourne now is around just shy of 900,000 for houses, and unit is shy of 700,000. Okay, next. Okay, so this is a very interesting chart. Yeah, this is the auction market. As mentioned again, if you've seen our video earlier, that's how we sell property via auction, via bidding. Yeah, so the clearance rate, that's the chart on the left hand side. The clearance rate is around 70 to 80%. So which means every 100 houses for sale, 80% of them will be sold. Yeah, but on the right hand side, if you look at it, the bar is on monthly basis. on the graph, the bar chart, black color, as you can see, during the COVID period, the transaction has dropped. Yeah? The transaction has dropped tremendously, but the prices are holding very well. The clearance rate are still holding very well as well. It shows that the supply side is not there, the demand is still there. Yeah? The supply is not a lot, but the demand is still very strong. Yeah? So that's the reason why our clearance rate is still very high, and prices are still holding very well. So this is just a general guideline for those who are familiar with Melbourne. You will notice that each suburbs have different clearance rate, and it shows that certain suburbs have highest clearance rate. So we have all these figures. As you know that we are all we can access to all these numbers. If you do need any of these numbers, please let Henry know, myself know, Adrian know. We'll share with you all the latest data. So this is, as mentioned again, this is on the days on market. Yeah? So I think this is very, very interesting. As you can see, we have inner, middle, and outer metro Melbourne. Yeah? So inner Melbourne stand for 0 to 10 kilometers. Middle Melbourne is 10 to 20 kilometers, and outer Melbourne is 20 kilometers and beyond. Yeah? So regional will be those Geelong, Ballarat, and other cities. Yeah? So as you can see from here, traditionally is around, if you decide to sell your property in Australia, when you decide to exit from Melbourne, it will take generally around 30 plus days to 40 days to be on the market. Yeah? To be on the market. So maybe Adrian, since you're on the ground, can you just share with us how accurate these data are?
Okay, so just to elaborate a little bit, guys, I've received a lot of questions from overseas owners, right? Auction seems to be a wrong way of selling in Asia. Okay, so in Asia, it would be mortgage sale, it would be forced to sell, then you go through auction. Okay, just like to clarify, in Australia, that's not the case. It is a common practice, common way of selling. Buyers and sellers are used to in Australia. And as a seller, you do have the right to set a reserve. You don't have to sell if it doesn't reach your reserve. Okay, just like to make sure you understand that going through auction, selling it fast doesn't mean that you have to sell, right? You still can set your own reserve, and very often, the owners sell it, and the auction's clearance rate is so high is because the buyer's competition have created during that day push up the price that it exceeded the reserve price, right? So they all sell because it has exceeded the reserve price, which means that the owners are happy to sell at those prices. So selling fast, selling effectively, second thing is also, it's actually unconditional contract. That's why a lot of sellers like to go through this process, is because with auction, the terms is that it's 10% deposit, 30 days settlement, and it's unconditional, no cooling off, no subject to valuation, no subject to selling of the buyer's home. So it's a clean-cut cash offer on that day. As long as it exceeds your reserve price, it will be sold to the highest bidder for an unconditional contract. They cannot pull out. Okay, that's why a lot of Australians like to buy and sell through this process. Okay, and it's doing very, very well for like 100 years in Australia, and it's a very common practice over here. We have to trust the process. We have to make sure that we follow the process, and the agent's job is to make sure that to be your eyes and ears for you while you're overseas, and negotiate the hardest we can to get the buyers to increase the price. Okay.
Thank you, Adrian. I think this is really good. As mentioned again, we are very, very eager to bring this selling process, the bidding process to even Singapore and Malaysia as well. Yeah? So this will assist a lot of our sellers to achieve a shorter campaign, just like in Melbourne, which is 39 days. So instead of going through 6 months, probably this will shorten the whole campaign
and higher price as well.
Yeah, and higher price as well. Yeah, thank you very much, Adrian. Yeah. So okay, good. So the rental market. Yeah, let's talk about rental market. As mentioned again, we have a property management team. We do manage around in Melbourne, yeah. So they could be in inner Melbourne, Melbourne CBD, and outer Melbourne as well. So our team are very efficient. So the property manager's job is not just only collect rental, but they do a lot of other services as well. We do routine check of your property. We do monthly check. I mean, not monthly, quarterly check with the tenant as well, and the conditional check of the properties to ensure that the tenant take good care of the property. Yeah. So these are the job of the property managers, and I'm sure if you do engage our service, you'll be happy with them as well. So our managers, they're multilingual and they can assist with a lot of services as well. So as mentioned earlier, if you look at these two charts here, yeah, the one on the left is the blue color, which is on the Metro Melbourne, yeah, Metro Melbourne, and the one on the as you can see, the Metro Melbourne vacancy rate has gone up. Yeah, and if you look at the chart on the right hand side, there is middle, inner Melbourne, middle Melbourne, and outer Melbourne. Yeah, so very clearly it shows that the inner Melbourne vacancy rate has gone up. Yeah, very clearly, whereas the outer Melbourne, which is 20 kilometer to 40 kilometer vacancy rate has dropped, yeah, has come down. This clearly shows that a lot of people doesn't want to live in or confine in an apartment during this period, especially restriction period. They would prefer to move away from the city, stay in a landed property with fresh green, fresh air, and open space as well. That's the reason why the outer Melbourne has saw some decline in vacancy rate. Yeah, so this shows that people are moving away from CBD and people are comfortable working from home now and they don't need to go to CBD anymore. Yeah? So vacancy rate in the inner Melbourne has gone up, but vacancy rate in the outer Melbourne, which is 20 kilometer to 40 kilometer, has come down. Yeah, so this is some of the data. Yeah, inner Melbourne, the vacancy rate has gone up, and outer Melbourne, the vacancy rate has dropped. Yeah, so that's where we see opportunities during this time again. And if you look at this one again, the transactions, the approval rate has reduced as well. That means the supply has come down. And if you look at the transactions, number of transactions towards the month of March, April, May, June, which is on the right-hand side chart, towards the end of the chart as well, the transaction has increased and the clearance rate has also increased. Number of auctions has increased as well. That's just before the second lockdown of 3rd of August, yeah, second lockdown. Yeah? So it shows that the confidence come back very, very quickly. The number of transactions has increased as well. As you can see, from the month of June, there's around 1,500 property, 8,400 property being transacted in a month. Yeah, and out of 8,400 properties, 1,500 of them are transacted via auctions. Yeah, so it shows that confidence are still there. And for those who like to invest in CBD, yeah, because we do have a lot of customers who invest in CBD because of reason like children's education, reason like the one convenience, the one lifestyle. Yeah, so we still do have a lot of customers invest in CBD as well. As you can see from this bar chart, clearly the supply has come down tremendously. Yeah, the number of apartments that are going to come up in the year 2021, 2022 is coming down. Yeah? So the good news is if you do have an apartment in the Melbourne CBD, yeah, if you can, I think hold on to it. If you do look into invest, probably it's a good time to have a look as well. In Central CBD in 2020, there's only around 145 apartments coming up as well. And so the supply side has come down for the Melbourne CBD side. Yeah? So these are the some of the stats that we have that we can share with you. As mentioned again, we do have this data very regularly and we're more than happy to share with you. Please contact Henry or Adrian, myself, or even Jeff as well for some of the updated latest data as well. So I'm not sure whether there's any questions so far. If not, then we will look into some of the interesting products that we have in place at the moment that we see opportunities. If there's no question, let's move on. Okay, so we do have these projects that we think is good value, good value, and it fits into our investment criteria and objective as well. So this is a townhouse development. As you can see from the auctions earlier, that the property is also a townhouse. In Singapore or Malaysia terms, is known as a terrace house. Terrace house. So this is a terrace house in a development by Fraser's Property Group, a Singapore listed, Australian listed company as well. Fraser's Property Group, terrace house. We love terrace houses because generally terrace houses prices are lower compared to landed property, but it enjoy the same appreciation just like landed property as well, and also the demand is fairly strong. So this property, the development is located in Thanet, which is around 35 kilometers away from CBD. So this represents the location is within the outer Melbourne, which is within the metropolitan Melbourne, outer Melbourne. So as we shared with you the data earlier, outer Melbourne, the vacancy rate in fact has dropped. Vacancy rate has dropped. So that's the reason why we love to look into this development, because the outer Melbourne vacancy rate has dropped, the demand is getting stronger, and people are moving away from city. And as you can see earlier from the previous slides, the prices of the land price starts from 121,000. Land price starts from 121,000. So this suburb in Thanet, for those who are familiar, they're on the western side, 30 plus kilometers away from CBD. It can be accessed via the train station, new train station in Thanet, very, very convenient. In fact, we do have staff members in Jalin Realty Australia who reside in Thanet, and they take the train to city to work every day. It's I think less than half an hour, and you do have the Sky Bus service to the airport, to the new Avalon Airport, and to the Calamaran Airport as well. So the location is very convenient and it's very easily accessible. And as a master plan developer, Fraser's Property, as a master plan developer, they do have a lot of other amenities in this development as well. So the growth is located in a master plan development. So the location, as mentioned again, is 32 kilometers away from CBD. Thanet. Okay, and we have the shopping center. In fact, we do manage quite a number of property in this location as well. So we see a lot of interest and interest to purchase and to rent. And in fact, just to share with you, the median house price of Thanet is 603,000 as of this last quarter. 603,000. And you'll be surprised that what we are going to share with you is very, very interesting of this property. So beside the shopping center, the schools, education are all available over there. It's a matured suburb and amenities are abundant. Okay, and this one terrace house is known as the Grove Townhouses. Townhouses, and this how it looks like, and it's a master plan development. And very excitingly, we have this I think 12 lots of these townhouses, but as of today, we only have one left. So before we proceed with the layout of the property, probably we just play the video and share with you how does this terrace house or townhouse look like. Okay, thank you very much. Just like to share with you quickly, before we end the program, the townhouse or terrace house available. We only have one unit, and the number is, Jeff, can you see the number? Sorry again? 3828 townhouses. So the rest is all sold out. Yeah, so we only have one, and the price is only at how much again, Jeff? 364,900. So it's a two-bedder townhouse, 131 land area, villa is 113 square, and the price is only at 364,900. And if I'm not mistaken, the land price is 121,000. So for those who are familiar with house and land, you need to settle the land first, which is 121,000, and the rest the rest payment will be paid progressively. We can assist with loan, and we can assist with settlement, we can assist with management, and when we decide to sell, we can assist with the sales as well. As mentioned again, Tanit, the house price, median price is 603,000 currently. So I always believe if we do buy property below the median price, the downside risk is limited, the upside potential is always there. Yeah. So one more good reason why we do recommend this property and why it's also low and we only have one unit is because the land price is only like 121. Yeah, for those who are familiar with investing in Australia, currently the government has imposed a number of measures to try to curb or reduce the surge of prices in Australia. The surge of prices. So if you do want to invest in Australia, and if you do want to look into landed property, please make sure on the taxes charges on the foreigner as well, because if you do invest in anything landed with a land component of more than 250,000, foreigners will be subject to land tax and also absentee tax, which will cost annually of more than $10,000. Yeah. So these are the little things that you need to look into. But rest assured, we have office in Singapore. Henry is very familiar with all the regulations and taxes as well. I'm here in Kuala Lumpur together with Jeff and Adrian with the team in Melbourne as well. And our interest is to assist all our customers to build a sound portfolio in Melbourne and avoid any all this pitfall as well. So that's all for me over here. Thank you very much. I'm not sure, Adrian, Henry, do you have anything to add on?
Some questions in the by customers. Andrew, there's a question about South Bank property pricing. Andrew, if you don't mind sending us your address, I'll do a free appraisal, CMA, do some research and show you the current on the market as well as historical sales on your building and the surrounding building, free of charge, to indicate what other properties are selling for and sold for. So you'll be able to make a good decision with the good information. You also did ask Ian about Docklands. Yep, Docklands area, it's depends on which part of Docklands as well. Again, if you could send us the address, I personally live in Docklands as well, so I know the area very well. More than happy to supply you with another CMA as well on that one. Yep. And then we have.
And again, we also have a question earlier on by Mr. Teo. We were mentioning about the auction. So he probably like to find out what is the charges like to engage Jalin to perform the resale auction.
Yep. Okay. So Mr. Teo, if you could, same thing, give us your address. Okay. So there are just a brief explanation. There's three costs that were incurred in selling a property in Australia. Okay, in Melbourne. So the first two costs is you need to engage a solicitor to prepare a contract for you. Okay. So the solicitor's cost here depends on whether it's a conveyancer or solicitor, ranging from $1,500 to $2,000. So you can choose any one of them, or if you like us to refer you a couple of solicitors, we can. So that's the number one upfront cost. Number two, it depends on how far you like to reach out to the public, as in advertising and marketing. The wider the net you cast, obviously the more inquiries, for example, realestate.com, domain.com, and so on and so forth. So we can also tailor-made to suit you a marketing budget. And then the last thing would be about the, whether it's auction or non-auction, the marketing fee is about the same anyway, okay? So the last thing is obviously is our fee, okay? The sales fee for Jalin Realty here is 1.5 plus GST. All right, so these are three costs that are incurred when you're selling. But in total, my encouragement for all my vendors is to budget it within less than 4% of the value of your property. Okay, let's say your property is worth 500,000, right? So in total, the marketing, the legal fee, the commission, everything, we'll try to budget it within, let's say your property is 500,000, within 20,000. So commission only payable upon sale. If no sale, obviously there's no charge, okay? But if you could budget everything within the 4% of the value of your property, that would be pretty safe to say that it's a good marketing budget and should achieve your end result of getting the best price possible, okay?
And Adrian, we have another question over here. This client would like to know how long is the period for the property staging. I will take this question as in probably the client would like to understand there is a marketing period and then before the auction date, right?
Okay, so it depends whether the property is tenanted or not tenanted, right? So if it's tenanted, unfortunately, we can't do staging for you, right? Because there's tenants living in there and their furniture is in there. So if it's vacant property, it will take us less than 2 weeks. So within that 2 weeks, we will be preparing photographs, the staging, the script for the property. We'll prepare the marketing. So we'll get everything ready within 2 weeks' time. That will be including the staging as well.
All right, thank you.
Is there any other questions?
I think that's all from us, Kuala Lumpur, and do take care, Adrian in Melbourne and Henry as well in Singapore. Yeah, so we will be in touch again, and as mentioned, please do not hesitate to contact Jeff in Kuala Lumpur, Henry in Singapore, and Adrian in Melbourne, or myself at the moment in Kuala Lumpur.
One more thing quickly, I'd just like to add on. Because of our 6 offices, all right, we have office in KL, in Singapore, in Melbourne, in Hong Kong, Beijing, as well in Jakarta. Because of our 6 offices, in actual fact, we have been blasting a lot of our resale properties through all our social media in each country, right? So in actual fact, we are getting good response from overseas PR or Australians who are living overseas, actually receiving all our social media as well. So they are the ones that actually inquired to buy properties in Australia. So if you do list your property with us, there's no other company in Australia that could offer you such exposure. So with that exposure, you'll be able to get more inquiries and to achieve a better price for your property, okay? So, yep, that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Very true, Adrian. Yeah, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall see each other again. Thanks again. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye. One more question. Sorry. We have one audience here. Mr. What's the question?
Is there a lot of honky snapping of the property?
Letting up.
Buying.
Yeah, the question is whether there's a lot of Hong Kong citizens are investing in Australia now. Yes, yes and no, because currently with the lockdown, there's not many people coming in. But yes, in a way, there's a lot of inquiries because recently our Australian government has allowed foreign Hong Kong citizens to apply via their current visa, who are students or working visa. They can extend their permit for another 5 years, and this one also applies to new students as well. So that means those who plan to study in Australia, you can come into Australia, and at the end of the education, the government will provide a 5 years visa, and they can. This is a pathway to apply to permanent residence. So in a way that Hong Kong citizens or residents have a lot of inquiries and seize this opportunity to look into Australian properties. As mentioned again, we have office in Hong Kong as well. We've just conducted a webinar today in Hong Kong, and we have received very overwhelmed inquiries and responses.
And I do believe that this will be a ongoing thing with the Hong Kong residents, because as it is, there are a lot of Hong Kong families who migrated to Australia a while ago, and obviously stopped for a while. A lot of different countries, Malaysian, Singaporeans, as well as from mainland China coming in. But I do believe with this initiative by the government, Australian government, it will increase the interest and awareness from the Hong Kong residents again towards Australia. So I would think that in the next 2 to 3 years, there'll be more and more Hong Kong family moving to Australia.
Thank you very much. As mentioned again, take care and stay safe. Okay, bye-bye. Good night. Good night.